All right, welcome into another edition of the Nifty Q Show. We're interviewing influential founders, leaders, and people in the NFT industry. Louie, I thought we were on NFT Live. My bad. Today I'm sitting with Louie C. Rhymes, the NFT rapper, aka the NFT trapper. It's Louie, baby. I hope I did that right. We'll be talking in depth about the NFT and hip hop scene, what music platforms he likes, his hip hop head drop, and upcoming utility, and much more. Did I get that right, bro?
You pretty much nailed it. Yeah, you got to add a little bit more flow. My name is Louie C. Rhymes, the NFT rapper, aka NF Trapper. It's Louie, baby. We in this bitch.
And that is probably the best intro we've had on the Nifty Q Show in a minute. Hey, look, Louie made me bring out a beer as well. We're hanging out. We're gonna have ourselves a great conversation. It's late night. Usually we're recording these at like 2 p.m., 1 p.m. It's about 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. So we're just gonna have a great talk on the NFT music scene, man. And you were saying before the episode that like this is gonna be a fun time because you consider me a friend and I consider you one as well. And that's why I'm just relaxed. I'm ready to have this convo.
Hell yeah, bro. Me too. I'm chilling. I mean,
it's late night. Usually we're recording.
Hold on. Sorry.
Oh.
But yeah, I'm chilling. I'm really excited to just hang out with you finally and be able to just kick it. Honestly, for me, I'm chilling. It's mad loose. It's Rogan vibes, as you say.
It is Rogan vibes, man. So while you're talking, I'll probably be sipping on this over here. But we do want to have a serious conversation, of course, about hip hop and where the music scene is today and NFTs. You obviously are like deep in that type of grind of building your own project with hip hop heads. So that's going to be a good one. But before we get there, man, I want to get the Louie C. Rhymes backstory. That's what I need, man. The life of Louie is the thumbnail picture. So I need a life of Louie recap here.
Wow. I mean, obviously for any person, that's a large task. But hey, I'll give it to you, but you gotta push me and challenge me to get to the point, because sometimes I'll go on a fucking rant, for lack of a better way to say it.
Got you.
But yeah, no. The story of Louie C. Wow, the life of Louie. Well, so I am a person who was born in Brooklyn. Spent the majority of my life on Long Island, raised in Wantagh in Nassau County. Moved out there when I was like 6 or 7, probably, from Brooklyn, maybe like 2nd or 3rd grade. And when I moved out there, was this big jock, graduated high school, tried to do sports in college, kind of like did it, but didn't do it,
what sport?
Football and basketball. But it was just too much of like a job, and I couldn't handle it, honestly. It was too much. And so, yeah, I mean, basically from there, I took that mentality, because I'm rushing the story, but I learned a lot from, I would say that sports, the experience with sports and being a jock is probably the most valuable base foundation of like skill sets and just I want to say experience of perseverance and diversity, like facing like a diverse set of situations and being able to just respond to it like calmly and dynamically. That shit like you learn in sports, when it's crunch time. And so that was probably my shit in terms of why I am the way that I am, and I'm so I'm very composed in the time that I need to. Yeah. And I think I would attribute that to sports. But anyway, so I always, after, I got involved with sports when I was younger, I wanted to be a coach, phys ed teacher, always loved the Mighty Ducks, always loved Charlie, always loved Gordon Bombay, baby.
Bombay. The Flying V. Let's go.
We out here. Bro, so, yeah, Gordon Bombay was like my favorite. And, yeah, man, so I just, I loved that mentality of sports and the team, hanging out and friends with within the team and stuff. So I ended up after college getting a phys ed job, graduating college, doing all the intramural sports, like learning more about phys ed and like really starting to care more about just like than sports, like people's health and kids all understanding shit like that. And what were you gonna say there?
No, I was gonna say, when does the love of hip hop and artistry and all of this stuff start to weave its way in? Because right now you told me sports is like been shaping you, but you of course are a hip hop artist.
So it's a good question. My wife would tell you I'm the worst storyteller. This is why you got to ask questions. But, and you're on.
Shout out to your wife.
Shout out to the wife, Dominique. But yeah, no. So it starts in football, right, and basketball. I control the locker room music, so that's why I'm like so intense with it. Since I'm young, that's like where it is. I rapped like a 50 Cent Young Buck song at the senior talent show in my high school because I'm like a crazy person, and a Biggie Small song, I think. But yeah, I just always loved it. It was just my shit, and I never made any raps. And then one night when I was at a college party. Glad you said this. I skipped over the whole fucking thing. When I was at a college party, some dude was being drunk and rhyming, and I was like, bro, come on. And it was just like, bro, no. And he kept going, and it was sounding ridiculous. And I don't remember what I said, but I said something, and it was like that kind of rap thing where when you say something, people are like, oh, and like it was like, oh, and I was like, oh, and everybody's like, oh, and so it was fucking crazy. And then I'll never forget that night. That night was like the night that I realized I was like, oh my God, like I listen, like I love this shit. I'm gonna do this shit all the time. And yeah, that's when I locked myself in my room in college for a period of a year and a half, and I just don't write rhymes. I just freestyle because I'm a crazy person. And yeah, then I like that prepares me to begin the trajectory. The reason why I guess I start with sports and like stick to the school side is because like it ends up going back that way after college, where like I become a teacher and then I go back to schools. And just recently, it ended up going back to the music, which is what like I've wanted to do forever, and I just shied away from it because of so many reasons, and it's such a more unstable situation to make a living from. But yeah, like, and now I'm just not in that position where I'm shying away. I'm like, let's fucking go. We out here.
What was that inflection point? Like, what was that moment that you said to yourself, okay, I'm good at this. I really want to tackle this. And this is one of my dreams of my life is to become a, hip hop artist and just tackle it as opposed to leave it to the side and maybe never pull it off the shelf.
I feel like that inflection point is like every day waking up. Like it never, like people think there's an inflection point sometimes. For me, I don't feel like I've had one. It was when I guess I had made so many raps that I had become so much better at it than I was before. And I finally had felt that way because when I was obviously doing it, people were giving me a lot more feedback that was positive than in the past. And I just knew it was getting better. And when you're confident, bro, like at any point in time, like, like finna finish him like a been a consideration, want to give him the minimum stuff, ended up killing him. Goddamn, my man. Firing around like I'm underneath the hot pan on cam. I'm ham. Rappers in about beef for the dudes drop spam. God's plan. I'm Sam. I am not done with this beat. I am not coming in peace. Cooking these rappers, so now I am coming to eat. Run and retreat. I am here now. You go butt naked running around in my street. Coming to streak. Running up on them. They don't want to problem, and nobody can stop him because he's fucking elite. Like, I'm crazy, right? And like that shit is like, I don't practice that shit anymore, but that's like in me. That's like my bones.
What were some of the artists that really influenced you when it comes to like the artists that you are now, freestyling, of course? But what were some of the artists? Is it like East Coast, like you're repping New York, or is it?
So many, bro. So many. I feel like music is such a hard thing to capture in terms of who you like. Because I feel like we just go through phases. So I'm in high school, I'm listening to Fat Joe, Lil Wayne, Lean Back Remix. Now I'm in college, I'm listening to Black Thought. I'm listening to Common. But like now I'm out of that, and I'm listening to Royce. I'm listening to Logic. I'm listening to Young Thug with J. Cole. I listen to Lil D. I love Lil D. I don't know if you probably never heard of him. He's like small time out of Coney Island, but he's not small time. He's fucking fire. I love that kid. I listen to who else? I listen to Russ.
Yeah.
Like I listen to all of them. Fucking Ransom, fucking Styles P, Jadakiss. They're all people. I was on a Spaces today, and I was rapping on the way to get my like third root canal in the same fucking tooth.
Take care of that one.
Woof, right? And yeah, these dudes were like, bro, like when you rap that shit, it was like Twister with fucking Buster with fucking Lil Wayne with fucking like all of them, like Styles, like they were saying all these, and it's like, nothing to me is new under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
So everything I'm creating is influenced by anybody else. All my art that comes through me is, from the world.
Absolutely, man. So I want to piggyback that question, but first, if can you go to your Discord and mute notifications, because that'll come through on my side, on the viewer side too. What the just to piggyback off this piece of like influential artists that made a difference in you growing up. What artist do you think would be, maybe alive or dead, would be interested in and maybe more dead, but would be interested in the NFT scene today? Like what? Maybe alive too. I don't know. Like.
Oh, I mean, look, like my utility and all that shit is based off of Nipsey Hussle's mixtape. And I will be straight up. I don't even know the songs that were on this mixtape. I just know the story of it. And when I heard the story of it, I was like, Brad, this is brilliant. Like, I'm going to do that. Like, it's brilliant. So Nipsey Hussle for sure. But I think that, I mean, it's just so obvious that crypto is so more adaptive and accepting of anti-establishment viewpoints, which is generally something that hip hop has also represented in its music and its culture, just because of the nature of being true, right? Being true. And the establishment also, like, oftentimes makes it hard for us to be true to ourselves because we want to be rappers, we want to work on music, we want to do art, but they make us be cogs in the wheel. We have to go to get jobs, right? There's more than enough money in the world in people's hands to be able to solve all types of issues like world poverty and world hunger. They just don't choose to do it. We could do that. People think that I'm crazy when I say things like that, but that's possible. But they just choose not to because it's not profitable. And that the global capitalist elite model will never, do something that they won't profit from. And here we go. We're down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, we made it quick, dude. We're like 10 minutes in. We're already talking about global capitalist elites. And Nipsey Hussle was a great answer. It's like one of the first guys that came to mind. I'm sure there's a lot of other, old heads, I think, and Nip isn't one of them, but just like old guys that came up in the 90s and early 2000s that will get into the NFT and hip hop scene, fairly soon. We'll see that. But going back to your timeline, you decided, hey, I want to make this be a part of my story, a part of Louie's story, being a hip hop artist. That had nothing to do with NFTs, right? It was like a very Web 2, I'm going to make it on this timeline. I'm going to scratch for 10 cents here and there. And tell me a little bit about that, and then we'll make our way to how you found NFTs.
Yeah, so, sorry, I'm putting a tweet out. But anyway, so fuck, man. So music was like something I never even thought I could monetize because the way the model was set up on the side that I was on was so against me. And like people don't understand. Like, listen, like I'm the nicest motherfucking guy in the room, but I'm also very, I'm not trying to be confrontational or disrespectful, but I will be fucking, I will address things that need to be addressed. And in Web 2, I wrapped my viewpoints and I feel like that is not something that was as accepted there. And it was probably not because of the whole platform, but the people who follow me and the shit that I have done in the past and why they follow me. Maybe they didn't know maybe it didn't align with their views what I was posting, but I posted a lot of shit. So let's backtrack, right? So Web 2, I'm not like, there's lines that come out of rappers' mouth. They're like, you never heard nothing whack come out of my mouth. And it's like, all right, that's great. But like, that means you didn't improve that much. So that's cool. But like, what are you really doing? So like, yeah, there were whack things that came out of my mouth. So in that process, I'm on YouTube, spitting older stuff. And then I really start taking it seriously in terms of not just putting a YouTube video up every 4 months and trying to go randomly viral, as that formula died out exponentially in front of my face. And I start taking it seriously in 2019, and I say, I'm gonna fucking go one verse a week. Every week, it has to be one verse. And I did that shit like pretty much no problem. And that was like kind of like boot camp for what like I knew what was going to be next. Like if you really want to do this, you got to do that. And so I did that. And that was Web 2. And in that process of going through that boot camp is where, like I said, I'm saying all these things on TikTok, on Instagram. And on TikTok, I'm getting hit with hate speech and shit like that. And because, look, straight up, I'm a white-looking Puerto Rican dude, and I was raised in, the suburbs of Long Island, Nassau County, and for whatever reason or not, There are people who disagree with me, and there are some who agree with me. But I just very aggressively stand for simple things like Black Lives Matter, like and that was like a big thing where I feel like there was a lack of acceptance from my followers, from people who I knew in the past, and like they weren't hateful. Like I'm not trying to be hateful to them. They were just people trying to present arguments that justify hate, and they'd rather just argue about it. And it's like, bro,
Or be dismissive about it.
and it's like, I've learned this. Like, I could sit with the most hateful person at the same table and not hate them. Like, what is a bad man? A bad man is a good man's charge. What is a good man? A bad man's teacher. That's from the Tao Te Ching. I didn't make that shit up. And the Tao Te Ching is the second most read book in the world, second to the Bible. The Bible first by force. The Tao Te Ching second, but by voluntary action. That's a whole nother story, though. But
Yeah.
anyway, Web 2, go on TikTok, rap about Kyle Rittenhouse, say that Kyle, you could see it on YouTube. I think it's still on YouTube. You could go on YouTube and you could look up Kyle Rittenhouse freestyle or Rittenhouse rap or whatever, and like they're slamming me in the comments, and it's just like all these people who like funded Kyle Rittenhouse's bailout, like whatever, and it's like it's cool, like that's fine, and I guess that it kind of leads me to what's going on in the NFT space too. Like, I don't say shit where I think I'm like always right and I'm perfect, bro. I got fucking demons too. When I get mad, I express that shit through this music. Whatever happens, happens after that. People listen to it. But yeah, this shit went crazy on TikTok, so they shut it off. And then they shut off my FYP, and I got no more views there. And then Instagram subsequently, immediately, my views started going down.
Oh, wow.
400,000 views on videos, and then I got 36 views in 3 weeks, bro. And so I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I give up. I'm like, fuck this. I'm out of here. I'm just going to rap for me and do this shit because I love it and stop trying to monetize it. And then in comes Web3, literally at that moment.
Whoa.
Your boy, Easy and Crypto, fellow lad, our vibe, our tribe. Shout out Easy. Get better soon.
Truth.
Dude, like him, like I swear, and I know this is weird, like no homo either, like Easy, I've been fucking thinking about you, bro, man, fucking, it's very weird. I didn't know you had COVID right now. Like I'm glad that you're gonna be feeling better soon. But yeah, I've been thinking about you because what you did for me with the onboarding, bro, the way that you got me in this bitch, like the way that you taught me, bro, like I'm so into that, and I will fucking always do that for other people. Yeah.
If you're listening at home, Easy and Crypto is definitely one of our community members, but he's like formed his own kind of following and he's carved out his own space in the NFT world, and he's a genuine guy, man. And when it comes down to why I got involved in your stuff, it's a lot about like what I got with Easy, which is authenticity, and that's as much as the NFT space is growing and evolving and becoming less authentic, there's still people getting after it that are super authentic. So Easy, yeah, 100% is one of those guys.
Yeah, dude. So yeah, it's very ironic, and he's the ultimate lad, and I'm very humbled to have been brought in by somebody like him, because I have such a strong understanding of what this shit is now. But I don't want to say I have a strong grasp on the constant oversight of the scene, because of my IRL job and shit. But in terms of like what can be done at this moment and what we can do with this Web3 technology shit as a music artist, like I've learned a fucking lot of shit, man. I've learned a lot of shit because I've done a lot of shit. And I'm very grateful for the people that have helped me do it and the people who have supported me like you in the past. And I could see you guys in the chat. Yeah, it is. Look, I would like to address this one time and one time only. We'll never be able to all agree on everything. The most important part in order for us to be able to have respect for each other is to have respect for ourselves. If I get mad at you, I'm really living with that hate. So I'm not trying to do that. Even if you say to me, yo, I'm a Trump fan who hates whoever, I don't care. I don't have to hate you. I'm not going to say I agree with you, but I'm not going to say I hate you. So just keep that in mind whenever you're navigating all these people on their scene of what they think about what everything else is,
When you were talking about not having a grasp on the space, I vibe with that, because even though I'm talking with people on the weekly, like yourself, who are ingrained in this space, I still feel like I don't have as good an understanding. as other people do, that maybe spend 24 hours of their time on Twitter. So from your perspective, is the NFT scene, because you mentioned it in a little piece right there, is the NFT scene now like hateful? Is there a lot of that kind of stuff going on? And do we fix it? How do we fix it? Do we just let it run amok? What? Because I don't pay attention to it, to be honest.
I don't know. I do see things that are sometimes hateful, but I keep thinking about this all the time. People are like, oh, there's so much hate in the space. That's like, fam, there ain't no fucking hate in the space. There's hate in people, and people are everywhere. People are in the space. That's why you see hate. There's love in people. People are in the space. You see love in the space. To me, that's just another way of trying to justify or whatever, like the fact that it's there. Like, I think a lot of people think of Web3 as this anomaly that like exists in a vacuum of like pure profit and everybody just supports each other and it's just fucking, we all make money together, yay. Like, no, like that's not what it is. It's fucking hard work. It's people literally trying shit for the first time. It's people fucking constantly in communication, and that's what it is. It's work like anything else.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. It's a lot of people chasing freedom too, which is, I think, a point that you were kind of getting to before. But as far as your onboarding into the space, I want to TLDR this. It's a lightning question. Give me that timeline of like what you got into platform wise, because somebody's at home, they want to get involved in the hip hop space, in the NFT music scene. What platform should they be using now? But more so, like, take me into, okay, I downloaded the MetaMask, I went to X to get my NFT music education.
Yeah, I got in with Cypher. You should check out Cypher. Cypher is just a special crypto app that lets you mint music over beats that are generated from a bot. Check it out. But after I did that, that was where I sold my first songs on Cypher's DApp. And after I did that, I went to Rarible. I minted my Genesis collection. And after I did that, I had my own custom smart contract created and my own mint website created. What I'll say is there's 3 different kinds, right? You have the ability, usually between OpenSea and Rarible, I'm going to be specific too. You can create a collection or a token in their open shared storefront contract. Which will have their token symbol. On Rarible, you can create one which is in their shared storefront, but it will have your own token symbol, which was my Genesis collection, which is why we have the ILB exclamation point token symbol. And then the highest form of, I don't want to say authenticity, because it does not mean you're going to get more sales if you make one contract or the other. But the highest level of, I guess, customized and personalized smart contract to your project would be your own smart contract that you interact with through Etherscan and all that shit. So DM me. I'm a regular person. I'm a teacher. I try to hold space for this, to talk about this. People constantly ask me, but I honestly do have trouble getting people into the room to follow up. I'm not much of a time like Twitter fingers guy. I don't have the time. Hit me in the Twitter spaces, come join, and you can ask me any question you want. I'll give you exactly what I know. If I don't know anything, then I'll say nothing.
Were you in the NFT God, man, why did I just blank? The NFT rooms in 2020. What was the app called? Why am I blanking on Clubhouse? Were you in NFT Clubhouse? Is Twitter Spaces the same thing going on?
I don't know. Like, I'm not in enough of them to know. I was in both. I'm in Twitter Spaces way more. Yeah, Clubhouse is fucking crazy. Like, Clubhouse is just like sometimes seems like a muck. Like, people are just like all talking at once on top of each other. Twitter Spaces. I don't know, man. Like, it depends. Like anything, it's not about where you are; it's about who you're with, right? Mm-hmm. So, I know mad people who I love, like that. I fucking hang out in Twitter Spaces. Shout out Sharp Tank, the whole fucking group chat. Shout out fucking Cass, fucking Aurora, Lowly, fucking 3Q, J Mid, Commander. Shout out all these people. These are like some musicians. Shout out Spotty. I haven't talked to Spotty in a while, but we spoke recently. We reconnected, which was great. And I'm just like, I'm in a Twitter space community now that is quite musician based.
Okay, so thumbs up on the Twitter Spaces though. You give it a thumbs up. I'll take that.
Because yeah. Yes and no. You want me to tell you why it's no? Because some Twitter Spaces it seems that they're advocating that music should be played, and then nobody's playing music or doing music live. And I'm not about that life. If you're gonna fucking do that, or they'll play music from their playlist when they're supposed to perform. It's like, bro. I mean, not supposed to perform. I guess they can, but it's like, bro, we fucking spit bars here, bro. I'm not about that fucking bullshit.
Okay. So I had a guy, Marshall Shuttle, on yesterday for the Nifty Q show, and he's a photographer, NFT photography. There's some like synergies here with the timeline of, because you're artists at the end of the day. A photographer does it in one medium, hip hop artist does it in another, but there are some synergies here on like what NFTs bring to both, right? To artists in general. But tell me, like in your words, what do NFTs change about the Web 2 platform that exists for hip hop artists?
To be completely honestly, nothing other than the simple ability to have the availability of the blockchain technology to use to verify owners of your merchandise, digital merchandise, your digital assets. That process to me is the most valuable piece of anything that we could have gotten from Web3 right now that I'm looking at. Because Nipsey did this, and it wasn't an NFT, and people don't get it. Like, this motherfucker was sitting down having lunch with people who bought his shit for $100, like, because that was part of the utility. Like, so like, it's not that utility can't be guaranteed unless you have an NFT. It's that it gives such a major advantage to the distributor of the digital asset in terms of how they can guarantee that utility or whatever it is that they want to guarantee. Yeah, man, that's it. That's it for me.
So the king of utility here for his piece is telling me there's only one thing that is the difference in this scene, because the royalties came up a lot with Marshall yesterday. Is that just like a community? Go ahead.
The royalties is the same thing. Like, I mean, it's not the same thing at all. Don't get me wrong. It's completely different. But like, I don't see royalties as the same thing in Web 2 and Web 3, right? Because we're not selling songs for less than a cent, like a tenth of a cent even. That would be ridiculous. We're selling art here. This is a different style of even what we're delivering and what we're distributing. And in Web 2, the idea that they're trying to get us to sell it for per listen and per play devalues it. It gives them ability to devalue it and pay us less for it, because it makes them be able to say it's based on plays, right? If they only sold the songs at $1, we would probably make more money if they gave us that option. But they don't. And there's a reason for that, because it's designed to pay the platforms that distribute it than it is the artist.
And that is different now on platforms that exist in the NFT space? Like, are these native platforms doing it any differently, or are they just the same thing repackaged?
Theoretically, when you're independent, you can control your percentages if you're truly independent, right? But the thing is that like the royalties in terms of like a platform that you can set up and like say how much you're gonna get, like custom, like an NFT, like OpenSea, for instance, collection. I don't see that anywhere else in Web 2. Like, to be able, even if you are independent, to set it up with a distributor that will do that. Like, and you can't, because I don't think you could be on these platforms and collect more than what they will give you, right? So like that, that's why the royalties are different. Like, it's like the secondary royalties are not the same as mechanical royalties, aka streaming royalties.
You touched on like a price difference there, which I kind of followed up after Music Mondays. I've been learning a lot on Music Mondays, guys. I actually direct Louie's show on the network here. He brings in like artists all the time, and they're doing like live performances. Louie was doing a live performance, but I've been soaking in some education there from that. And there was a conversation about like what a artist should price their stuff at. And it was a cool conversation to me, because like we had Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park on the network at one point, and he actually did free. Now Mike Shinoda's Mike Shinoda. Like, he's going to get exposure anyways, depending on whatever he was doing. But it created an interesting dynamic where there was no like cost basis for his people trying to buy an NFT. It was, they got it for free, and then he's getting all the royalties afterwards. So it's like a win-win, most exposure, all this stuff. But it was just a cool conversation, because I see both sides. I see max exposure, get my stuff out there, keep it cheap. And then I see what you and Natalie were talking about as well, where you're like, you're devaluing yourself. You know, you should value yourself more. So break down that conversation for those people at home.
Yeah, I mean the distribution thing for exposure is, it's just, you know, it makes sense obviously why you would do it, but once I learned that you don't need to be viral in order to make real money, then I realized that distribution. See, like the whole thing with the distribution is going viral, right? Like getting millions of views and streams, and unless you're able to do that, you're not really going to be successful on Web 2. But if you can sell something for a little bit more value on Web3, like I could, and guaranteed more utilities, like some physical merch and some commercial rights with my Genesis collection, and found people who genuinely liked what I was doing, it was just more applicable because of the space. And also, you got to remember, the people in the space like that, right? When I come in and I meet the standard or the necessarily threshold of like where they're like, oh fuck, this guy is doing some shit, like with all this NFT, because like you can't get my shit is full, my shit like is bulletproof, like my shit is fucking is right, like the gated links, like you're not getting into unlocked utility unless you get fucking the shit. Like you own the NFT in your wallet. So yeah, so you know, once I learned that, that's what I realized. It's about providing people an experience. I started off with 10 people probably, you know, chilling in Cypher, all of us together rapping. Then some of those people, you know, I branch out with. You know, my community is a sub-community of Token Smart, Avastars. You know, it definitely is. And as I've grown, it's become more than that. But that's my base community, and that's kind of where it's been at.
Yeah, I want to like mesh a industry conversation with Hip Hop Heads, which is the project that you founded, the PFP project you founded. I'm a proud owner of that. We're gonna do some giveaways. I know you did a giveaway bot in your channel. We have a giveaway bot going on in the LADZ channel as well. So if you're in our Discord and you do own a certain like 5,250 LADZ, you can actually get access to that giveaway bot for a free Hip Hop Head. So tell me about this Hip Hop Head found, like just this timeline of founding the project. And then I do want to have the conversation of, you know, where you go from here, right? Because I think initially even it was a little bit under what you thought you were going to get as just a project that was launching. So if you could hit that story, that would be great. As Louie is messing around IRL, I think he's got is that a family?
No, I had to open a window.
Oh, gotcha.
It's getting hot in here. Yeah, no, I heard what you said, but yeah, no, Hip Hop Heads is my baby. It's what I believe will be my foundation, like, piece. It's like Eminem's Infinite. You know, it's like my base, my first shit that I ever made. It's like the coolest shit that I ever made. And yeah, so all right, so hold on. I'm sorry. Rephrase the question short, real quick.
So I mean, you obviously found yourself in the NFT space. You said, okay, I don't want to just maybe observe this. I don't maybe just want to be a part of it and an owner of somebody else's NFT and be a part of their project. I want to found my own. So what was the thought process into what you put into Hip Hop Heads?
Well, yeah, I found my own for everything. I'll never stop trying to create shit. But for the Hip Hop Heads, I had the music already, except for one of the songs. I just made one song for that. All that is older music. That's actually older music than my Genesis collection. My Genesis collection is the Behind Bars, it's Louie Baby theme. And that's, in my opinion, my favorite overall collection of songs. This album, though, has my best full songs on it, because those are just verses. But, yeah, Hip Hop Heads started off, honestly, with Jared T. Jared T is the dopest dude, and he came to me. He bought a few of my ILB Genesis collection NFTs, and he was like, bro, he's like, all we got to do is figure out how to give this audio some kind of rarity. He's like, why can't we just make it that there's an audio component that gives it a rarity? And at first we were going to score it like Avastars and make it like I guess like they would get a rarity score based on the overall traits, and then that would determine their song or their audio trait that they would get the song connected to. But we ended up just realizing it was easier to just make audio traits out of the songs. So we made 33 audio traits out of 10 different songs. And that was how we created this like new idea, right? And this new idea was that you're going to have a PFP, but it's going to have an audio trait now, and it's going to be a part of a song. But people were, and I still think it's very ahead of its time. People were very like, well, what does that mean? Will it be a random part? Will it be like just a few words? Of course, I'm going to give you a structure of it. So it's going to be either a verse, a chorus, an intro, or an outro. And when you buy it, you're getting just a regular PFP NFT with visual traits and rarities. You'll have the audio trait and rarities. And so like that alone, I think like took people a little bit like confused. They like really couldn't get it. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're right. I mean, you think about the PFPs how it exists today on Twitter. It doesn't have that MySpace feature of being like you go to somebody's profile and you're playing an audio feature. Someone's taking that in visually, not from an audio standpoint.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
I mean, and at first when we were making them, we were like thinking of just making them still images and then make the audio like an extra step to get to. And then I was like, nah, fam, like we about this audio NFT life. We got to be making audio NFTs. So that was a major step in the process. At first it was create 5,000 stills, right? Still images. Now it's create 5,000 videos. So imagine the storage and the rendering that needs to be done. For that kind of work. But yeah, so let's get into Hip Hop Heads, though. Hip Hop Heads is my debut album as an NFT, dropped as a collection of 5,000 swagged out, hand-drawn, hip-hop head style looking profile pictures that come with an audio trait rarity component in addition to the classic visual PFP traits. This is not a PFP project. It's okay to think about it like that, but it's not. It's more than that. It's a music album. It has crazy utility. It does have a roadmap that we are very early in, and we haven't made it to a mark in the roadmap yet, but I'm still able to provide 3 pieces of utility, right? And it's going to be 4 soon because I got some claimable things that are going to be happening real quick, and we'll talk about that. But like, I'm really excited about what we've built. So Hip Hop Heads is these 10 songs, these NFTs. The utility that it comes with is, right now, it would be commercial rights. It would be access to exclusive giveaways and parties that we have. We were having them, honestly, a little bit more often during the drop, and we're about to have a lot more because I'm about to have another drop in the next month or 2-ish. So we got the giveaway parties, and then we're going to have merch. So you will have to buy it, but it's going to be reasonably priced. It's only going to be for Hip Hop Head holders. We just got our Hip Hop Heads logo created. So the first thing I'm having made is beanies. Then we'll have sweatshirts. I already have the people. I've used them before. So I'm excited about that. I'll have some merch. I'm excited to, send out.
Is this IRL merch or metaverse merch?
This is IRL merch. I want to make metaverse merch that matches with it, but in addition to that, I have metaverse merch that doesn't match with it, but it's fucking fire. The metaverse merch that I have, the Crypto Voxels wearables that I have, which, by the way, want to shout out Nifty for giving out a Hip Hop Head, and also I'm giving out a Crypto Voxels wearable, my head, ILB, actually my head, in Crypto Voxels as a wearable. It's dope as fuck. It's way clearer than you think it would be. Shout out Musashi for creating it. And yeah, if anybody wants to get there, it's in the Hip Hop Heads Holders exclusive giveaways channel. Just click on it, and in a day we'll know the winner, and I'll send it to you.
Yeah, we talked about authenticity earlier, and that's what drew me to the project initially. I think that's honestly, other than like the ciphers and things like that, the first time I really paid attention to what you were doing. And when you're building in this space, I'm looking at Louie and saying, this guy is going to be, 1, around for a while, but 2, he's going to be seen as one of the OG and authentic people building in the space. That doesn't necessarily equal success in this space. Sometimes it's the exact fucking opposite. Yeah. Sometimes you got to be shady as shit and working with all the shady people, and you get to sell out instantly.
And that depends on your definition of success, right? Like straight up, we haven't even talked about the fact that I held the Hip Hop Heads challenge that paid over 30 artists over $2,000 in ETH, and I generated more money than I ever have generated in my entire life off any piece of music that I've ever made, and it's enough money to like, if I had to live off of it, I could. And like that, as an independent artist, although it's not a sold out PFP, I'm working, bro. Like everybody, like you don't even know, like the whitelisting that's about to go down for the hip hop head holders and the ILB holders, the people who own the first original shit. Like this is all being worked on. I'm gonna get into it more in details, but like that's the kind of shit. Like I'm working, and this token is my social token. You know, people buy or not buy. Artists make their social tokens. I'd rather have it in an NFT and guarantee utility through that technology because I prefer it that way. It's what I'm comfortable with. It's my game, and I know how to control it. So that's what I view the token as. When you're buying a hip hop head for 0.03, which recently, and this is what you learn as a project lead. Like I'm a rapper. I'm not trying to lead a project the way you would think a normal PFP person would. But so like
I feel that to my soul. But go ahead.
Right? Like, but like I didn't even know it. On our contract, we have this feature where it's actually lower gas. Like, and I don't understand the code, but it is. If you go, anybody who's watching this, put my money where my mouth is. You don't have to mint one. Go through the process of minting a hip hop head and put it compared to OpenSea versus anywhere else, and you will see that the gas is significantly lower at that same time on my site than it is on OpenSea or anybody else's, and that's fucking dope. You know, that was a cool thing. But I wish I would have advertised that in the beginning of my my drop.
Do you deal with the we're in crypto, we're in NFTs. There's a little bit of financialization. There's a little bit of people's money that it's involved and things like this. Do you have to deal with that in your community? You know, because like I have a social token as well. You know, like we launched like a year and a half ago, something like that. And there's ups and downs, peaks and valleys. And do you deal with that from an artist perspective of like saying I have to have a not financial responsibility, because that feels like probably the answer is no, but do you kind of see where I'm putting this question? Is like, do you see yourself and model things that you're doing to support your holders financially? Is that something that goes into your brain?
That's the only thing that goes into my brain. And the way that I would do it, if I had sold out a PFP, has to be a lot different than the way that I'm going to do it when I didn't sell it out. But I'm still going to do it. And there's 146 fucking hip hop head holders right now, and every fucking one of them is getting way more utility and privileges out of having those fucking tokens beforehand. And I'm just going to be out here. That's what this game is about, this game of life. It doesn't happen in one moment. It's about the collection of the continuous fucking moments. And I'm going to be out here hustling, whether I got one kid and a real life job, a 75,000 kids in a real life job, whatever I'm doing, this is my shit, man. This is where I'm going to be. I'm going to be fucking creating. I'm going to be making shit. I'm going to be standing for most likely the underrepresented group who is being, you know, usually made to be less accessible to success than most other people are. So that's what I do, fam. I mean, why do things the same way when you can fucking build something brand new? If you pop off, it becomes the coolest thing ever. If you didn't, it still made me the most successful I ever was off the shit. So I have no regrets.
And I want to give a quick shout out here to Prodigy's in the house saying, LFG, you see my profile pic. And he's got a profile pic of the hip hop head there. Harry Mead is saying hip hop head is going to be one of the OG music NFT projects.
Yeah, man, dude, I appreciate that. Listen, Prodigy, shout you out, fam. You've been rocking that PFP for a while. Out by our tribe. It's Louie, baby. Yo, but for real, man. No, thank you. That's what it was about. Originally, you know, making sure that people could rock it as a PFP. It ended up like you have to zoom in on it a little bit and whatnot. But yeah, fam, this is I don't worry. You know, when you fucking make this shit, it's just you see what everybody else is doing. So you're like, wow, how could my shit not pop off the way that theirs necessarily popped off? And once you get caught in that, you lose, right? You just lose. You just start doing things and thinking about things that aren't important, and you just start spiraling, and it's no fucking point. So I'm out here creating. I got a ton of new stuff coming out, and it's about to start coming out in about a month or maybe two. And like, you know, we haven't talked much about, like I said it before once, but like I fucking am about onboarding artists, about getting them paid, about giving them value, about getting them out of the trap of likes, comments, and views. And so, like, this next collection is going to be more expensive. It's going to be much more rare. It's going to be much less tokens. I'm not going to give exact numbers because I think people would be surprised, but it's going to be much less. But the utility, if you invest in it, is going to be, I think, something that could, like, fuck onboarding. Like, I am literally, I'm basically flying the plane and fucking saying, get in, baby. Like, let's fucking do this shit. Yeah, so there's that.
There's not a lot of details there, so Louie's like leaving us on a cliffhanger right there. But I do want to touch on those points about onboarding that you have done up to this point, where you're saying like you've been able to donate $2,000 to potential artists and things like this. That's obviously one of the goals of Hip Hop Heads and your project is to, like you said, support these people. What was the actual like details about this donation? So you ran a giveaway. And how did that all kind of work out?
For which donation? What are we talking about?
I think you said you a couple thousand, like $2,000 or $3,000.
Yes. So yeah, for the way that worked. So we did a Hip Hop Heads challenge. I came out with a song called Hip Hop Heads. Rappers rapped over that beat, and then I put, bro, I'm crazy. I said anyone who submits to the challenge gets 0.01 ETH, which is $25 to $60 or $50, whatever it is. $40. And then I said people who refer people also get 0.01 in addition to the person who got referred who also get 0.01 because they're the artist and they submitted it just for submitting to the challenge. And bro, we got 33 submissions or something like that. And like, that was amazing, but straight up, that shit is crazy that I only got 33 submissions because I originally had said I have a 1 ETH budget for this. So I could have did this with 100 people, theoretically. But that's what's crazy about social media and how manipulative and how controlling the algorithms are. It's like, even when I'm giving away money to people who post duets on TikTok for no likes and they are fucking at least decent, or if they're not decent, they're consistent. So why not let them a little bit of money? I'd rather onboard somebody with a low skill level who's passionate and is consistent and wants to build. Fuck that. Let's go. Bring him out here. Let's go. So, like that's the people. I think I spoke to somebody who said if I dropped that 6 months later than I dropped it, it would have sold out in 10 minutes. And I know why.
Or sooner. Yeah.
Because I would have had so much time of promo. But at the same point in time, that could be true. But at the same point in time, everything happens for a reason, man. And I'm like fucking thrilled. Again, I'm thrilled about where I'm at, bro. Like, I monetized my music for the first time ever. And I am in the fucking pendant, bro. I am not out here. Like, there is nobody. Like, you're out here. Like, that's who's out here. Like, there is nobody.
Yeah, I want to talk about this piece of going full time in the space. And do you see yourself ever making that transition? I know you, like, the first thing you talked about when you came on the show here was about education and learning from sports, which you obviously have a coaching like tie in there. So would you ever like leave the full time gig to come over here?
Yeah, I mean, that's my dream, honestly. Not even to be crazy viral billionaire, whatever, rapper. That would be great, but I do want to do that. But that's the struggle, right? Like, wanting something for myself like that, like that's the discontent that I experience. So like, I try to live in the present moment, try to be happy with the fact that I could do a little bit of both. But I definitely, I mean, that's where I want to be. I want to be creating. I want to be able to say I'm going to work and my work is doing all this shit, Love it, man. Love it.
So I said I was going to like mesh a little bit of the industry discussion with the project overview. Looking out across the NFT like music space right now in the hip hop space, like what should people be getting involved in? Like who should they be following? I know you gave a couple shout outs before, but what people should they be following if they want to learn more about the music scene, if they want to, kind of download a platform or just start to make their way?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say the people that I know, but there I'm sure so many more than I'll drop. I don't believe it has to be when you do music, you rap, you fucking sing, you dance, whatever you do anything music related like that. same line I view you as. So you don't only have to follow people dropping hip hop NFTs, but so it's all about the way you drop. Like, music is still green. There's no one's figured out, like, the PFP was the template for the majority of NFTs that were visual. No one's figured out the template for audio NFTs yet, right? And that's what I offer through Hip Hop Heads. If you look at my project, it's a template for dropping audio NFTs. But yeah, so no one's actually offered that yet, covered that yet, and made that happen. So I think that's something that I would want to be keen on. And I'm sorry, I forgot the question. What were we saying?
No, just like audio platforms that you're interested in. Like, I think one that I know just from like my connections in just the crypto space and the NFT space, Audius is a big one. But like you guys were mentioning, that Audius is actually not one of the better platforms to actually go for. Like, which should they be pointed towards?
I would only go to Emanate if I was going to do crypto streaming. Emanate is it's a crypto platform similar to SoundCloud, where you upload music and you can get paid for your streams, or for streams on their platform, but they pay way higher than Spotify does. They pay like 1 cent to 10 cents depending on how much people listen to your music or whatever. So Emanate is led by, I think, people like Natalie Crew and DJ Lethal Skills, and they're fire and they're awesome people, and they'll help you out, and I'll help you out. I'll get you there. So I would, like, if you're trying to stream, that's probably like most accessible, easy, like, upload process. Like, you don't really need, you don't even need a wallet to upload. You just need a wallet to claim your money. But yeah, so I would tell them to do that. I just, because it's so green, that's what I was saying before. Because it's so green, it's hard to say, like, go with one or the other. Like, that's why I think we're looking at, like, people are trying to figure out how to stream it on crypto, where it's like, it's not making sense. And then people are trying to figure out how to, like, adapt it to, like, the way that PFPs are. And I feel like that's what I did. And I feel like it was very either ahead of its time or just a miss because people don't understand it. Like, right now, that's what they saw. So I'm waiting on seeing what's going to be this, like, TikTok of dropping, not TikTok, not a platform, this style of dropping content, and the way that music will be delivered. I'm not sure that it's going to happen via a platform.
Yeah, there's this, like, you find this in different verticals, because I'm talking with people in gaming, I'm talking with people in collectibles, in culture and fashion, and there's always this talk of, well, if somebody doesn't create it from inside of the Web3 space, is it going to come from a bigger entity that already exists? Yeah, and they're just going to implement it. Like, is Spotify just going to up in one day be like NFT implementation?
They probably can, because they have the most capital, right? And that's the other thing that people forget. It's like, we're still playing the same game. This is a market here, folks. Like, and it can be manipulated, controlled, and entered and accessed by anybody who has the capital to do so. So when they decide to enter, they can definitely sway things and control them, and they will. But that's why I personally like the idea of, when you're building early, not going through the platforms, because the blockchain technology, like, my shit is on IPFS. You will always have that through my contract, my website, like, it's all there. That's where you minted. Like, I feel more comfortable with that than, I guess certain servers like, Rarible and OpenSea, who store their shit on fucking AWS servers, and fucking Google and fucking Yahoo, or not Yahoo, whoever, Amazon own that shit. And it's like, bro, I'm not really about that life, It's just not really my thing. So, yeah, that's. I don't know where it's gonna go. I want to shout out some people, though. This is a person who I think has another template for how it's gonna go. His name is 3Q. Oh my God, the thoughtfulness on this project, it's fucking brilliant. And I don't even know any of the utility. I'm talking just from the art standpoint. It's so beautiful the way he packaged it. If you look him up on Twitter, his name's 3Q. Basically, his project is a 3D EQ. So he calls it 3Q. Mm-hmm. And he creates these visuals of an EQ that you would normally, see on the screen when you watch, whatever, Windows Media Player, whatever. But they're high-level, intricate, puzzle-style videos, and they're fucking awesome, and they're really cool. And so I don't know if he's got it as, I don't know, but that's right. So like that interests me. And obviously it's because he has high quality 3D deliverables, but that could be the next level, because music is playing, so there has to be motion, so it's got to be a video.
Okay, gotcha. So there's a couple questions I want to ask here, and I was looking at 3Q while you were mentioning it. Really dope artwork there, and like I love the animations. Don R has a question here. We got live chatters. We're on YouTube, but we're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts afterwards. So shout out to those viewers listening on audio. Don R is saying, do you see a player that authenticates NFTs before music can be played, like a YouTube with NFT authentication?
Not even close, bro. Good question, but not even close, and I have no idea when that's going to happen. It probably can happen. I don't see why it can't, right? It's I'm not a coder, but it's a website, so I don't see why it can't. But maybe there's something more to it because of the way that the assets are stored on blockchain. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But to my knowledge, bro, no. And it's that's the thing. There's people out here posting shit and using shit that they don't necessarily own, or not posting, minting shit that they don't necessarily own and selling it. So I try to be as careful as I can and make sure I have all the rights to everything, and everything that I do. So
that's dope.
That's the only way to do it for me.
I've got a couple rabbit hole conversations, so I want to make sure we don't like dive hugely deep. But you mentioned like ownership as being like one of the main factors, right, of like blockchain's effect on, or NFT's effect on music. When you're looking at like metaverse land, or I'm looking at metaverse land, I'm saying like, oh, it was like a previous owner might make this more valuable, or all these little like traits and properties that now can be found on the blockchain, making things more valuable or less valuable. Do you have any thoughts on that? On like how, like what properties might make a certain album or certain music more valuable or less valuable?
In terms of properties, like you mean like traits, like
traits, yeah.
By like music albums, you mean?
Yeah, just in the music sense, right? Because like in the collectible scene, like something that might be owned by Vitalik could be more valuable. It could, if this touched somebody's wallet, it could be more valuable. I don't like the number, right? Number 69 or number 420. Like, do you see that in music as well?
I mean, honestly, I don't know that I do. Like, that is more of something I feel like that is specific to visual art. Maybe there is, and I'm not aware of it. But that in my experience, that's just what it's been. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't really think I do, and I think that's what you're trying to create when you make a authentic one-of-one hip-hop head project to go along with the traits and the music. You're trying to get there, right? Like you're trying to create that, but I don't see it. That's why I'm interested in somebody like 3Q, because they look to be tackling that kind of that task.
Yeah, love that answer, man. I spoke with Marshall yesterday, again, in NFT photography. He's working on that KG Chris Gray's project, and we got on the discussion, I don't know how, of album covers. And I just want to frame this from like a personal question. Like, could NFTs and this like financialization of music, in a sense, could that bring back like the importance of album covers, like that were like in the 60s and 70s, where you had like such a focus? And maybe I'm getting this wrong, I'm not a music head, but I know that when they were on vinyl, the music album cover was art, and maybe NFTs now can bring that back to digital music, because you can like sell that.
I think what 3Q is doing is an example of where it's going to be now, where it's, no, album covers aren't going to be still images anymore. They're going to be interactive 3D designs that move and come to life while the music plays of the album. And I think that's what you're going to see. Our traditional album art music video, where you go on YouTube and you play the song and you see the album art on it, is going to be something animated, that dynamic and more animated, and not a still image. Maybe it's just a character walking continuously, like they have some of those 3D Bored Apes I've seen that like walk and stuff. I don't know what it'll be, but I think that's where we're going right now, because we're entering this digital world of visual experience. There's a like you don't go to the metaverse to hear music, you go to it to like see it and like see what it is. Like people call Twitter Spaces the metaverse, like fine, but like nah, like metaverse is CryptoVox's Sandbox, Decentraland, fucking Somnium Space, you go there to see it in that medium. And that's what makes it, more visual. And so I think that the visual part of what we're seeing with NFTs now is going to evolve into augmented reality, and it's going to evolve into virtual reality. And that's just the way. That's my thoughts on that one.
Yeah, a couple more questions here, Louie. And I'm talking with you and especially like Marshall from yesterday. I keep bringing him up because it was in a sector that I wasn't familiar with, so I'm learning as I go, right? So like a lot of these questions aren't formulated fully, but there was a question from Llama here about like copying songs, and it got me thinking that like honestly copying of songs in Napster and all this stuff like was one of like the first times I think we got involved in even the Web 2 space, where we're copying directly, where we're accessing a node to like download a song on LimeWire or something like that. But how does that work with ownerships of songs? Because we can see they can easily be copied. It's a very easy
ownerships of songs minted on the blockchain or like in a collection.
But could you then if someone had any nefarious, like, I guess, ideas, could someone just copy that song? Like how does that work? Couldn't someone copy?
Where would they? Yeah, they could, but where would they distribute it?
This is where I get caught up because
they couldn't distribute if you had already distributed on Web 2 platforms. They couldn't, because you could get a sync license there. So all those platforms, Spotify, if they tried to copy and put it there, they couldn't, as long as you went to distribute it there. So then it's a matter of they're going to put it on Web 3 somewhere. And then it's the same thing as anything else. Web 3 just has a bunch of fakes. There's already fake hip hop head projects out there right now.
Got it.
Yeah.
I guess in my sense of like understanding it, that Mona Lisa debate always comes out. I hate bringing it up, but it is a little bit like that. We're like, okay, yeah, you own the fake version of this. Like it's not worth anything, So maybe owning a fake version of a song doesn't, whatever, So.
Well, what do you mean fake? Like in like the way I'm saying that there's like fake collections. Like if you owned one of those NFTs.
I'm down that rabbit hole, so I don't really know where I'm going right now.
You're good, bro.
So I had another one come through as well. Let's see.
I'm trying to read too. I was trying to read while you were talking. It's hard, man. These people are very Llama, Don R, Prodigy, Harry. Shout y'all out, man. Appreciate y'all listening.
Yeah, a lot of the comments there are about access and how NFTs should have that feature, of course, that utility as being one of the main features. So
that's what mine is, access to my virtual performances. Then it'll be access to a in real life performance if we ever sell out. And the thing with that performance is that we're going to be having challenges. Like we already had one challenge where we identified artists. Those artists will be asked to come perform at that performance should we ever sell out, which is like going to be a crazy festival. And I would love to do it. Pretty hyped on even the idea of it, to be honest.
I love the idea of metaverse events, man. Like I watched that video of Travis Scott performing in Fortnite. Thought it was that got my mind clicking right there on like what it means to experience like truly like awesome events. Had the production value was lit. It was cool.
Yeah, no. This just in, I'm realizing that my mod is in here. Shout out Karaoke.
I've got Harry Mead in here who's asking some cool stuff, and I really like the live comments because they can kind of sometimes direct the conversation, but also kind of like hit on something that maybe I would have asked and just completely forgot about. But NFT utility with like royalties and the fact of like having your fans be able to have a certain amount of royalties from any of your sales. That's obviously something that's like hotly debated from a legal standpoint. I don't know how that looks. So if you could break that down, because it does make sense, right? You have a flywheel effect of like, hey, support me early. Maybe you even get more shares, aka tokens of me early. Like you could buy a lot of Mac Miller before he blows up, and when he blows up, you could sell that share of Mac Miller. So, do you view it in this way?
So word on the street is that that's like a security, and then it becomes an issue for taxes and stuff. So I would never offer that as utility in mine, unless I had the capability already, because I feel like that's a upfront cost for the artist doing that. So no, I'm not experienced with that.
Isn't that fucked up though? Isn't it? Shouldn't that be how it works? Like if somebody wants to, give you cash for maybe something that represents Louie as value, and then maybe they could sell it for more later. You're being told that you can't do that from the government. Is that does that not hit on your core? Like
I mean, it's nothing new here. I mean, I feel like we've been operating. This whole show has been operating under that premise. I mean, that everything that we do operates under that premise. We don't even own our bodies, for Christ's sake. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sorry.
Is that a COVID piece there? No, we're not jumping in that one.
No, that's not even just the COVID thing. It could be a COVID thing, but that's honestly not just the COVID thing. That's more of a global capitalist, the lead cog in the wheel, Western markets.
I just stole yours there. But yeah, so I mean, we won't make it too much farther. It's been about an hour. Great comments coming through actually in like the last probably like 10 minutes. So appreciate you guys kind of joining the convo here. Louie, you laid it down, man. I think, from a royalties perspective, now you don't have the ability to give royalties specifically from the sales or anything like that, but is there interesting ways that you're thinking about, like, I know we've talked about the utility and pieces like that, but other ways to reward fans based on your performance as an artist?
What do you mean? Oh, you mean artists that I would be onboarding? You mean those people?
No, you yourself.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, one of the things I have is a community wallet. So that's kind of how, like, instead of it being that I split up, all the money that I would make and offer that in streams or whatever, like, because that's what Nas did. That's what Nas's drop was. It was like, you get paid off of a percentage of the streams that I make. Instead of doing that, I just have a community wallet where we buy things with it and we reward the holders with what we buy. How do you think I'm getting the logo for the merch? How do you think I'm getting you guys the Crypto Voxels wearables? How do you think I'm getting anyone who buys a hip hop head tonight and posted in my Discord a free pick from the community wallet? Except you can't have my Crypto Voxels parcel. That's off limits. And that's a little alpha. We now have a parcel, and we will be hosting and celebrating a lot of people's work there. Anybody who knows Crypto Voxels builders, definitely reach out. We're interested.
Love it.
But yeah, so yeah, I don't want to go too far off the conversation, but
no, man, I think we laid down a good one here. We're at about an hour, so we're probably gonna wave goodbye to the people here soon. If you have anything lined up, I'd love to end the episode with any music performance. I always like hearing you just lay it down, basically. So if you've got anything, play it now, and we'll just like flow out of that.
Hell yeah, man.
So,
hell yeah.
So before you end it, I'll just wave goodbye to the folks here. I'll just let Louie take us out. Appreciate you guys showing up to the Nifty Q show here. We do this every Wednesday and Thursday. This is the first time it's been at 9 p.m., but usually we do them 1 to like 3 p.m. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Also, you can hit the link in the description. It'll take you to the audio versions as well. So, Louie, you got the rest of the show, man, and take it away, bro.
Hell yeah. So since there's, a few people in here hanging out, I'll drop some alpha bars. I'm not going to give you the beat. And if you were at Music Mondays, you might have heard this, but I'm going to give you two, so you didn't hear one of them. But this speaks to Web3 particularly. And I just wrote it, and it will be part of my new drop called NF Trapper, which will also be a custom contract. And that was where I was being extremely limited about what I was saying about the utility that we'll offer, but it will be a lot, and it will be a lot for artists and for collectors. But yeah, this is some bars. Everything I spit is raw like the uncompressed file. Far from where I was, but stay in touch just like a pen pal. Demons getting fleshed out, seeing the success now. Projectile, drop the beat, he got the dub like Dead Mouse. Decked out, assess out, they bugging out like West now. Fuck a quarantine, all these rappers is getting exiled. Wallet full of dog tags, selling on the blockchain. On some Web3 shit, a delegate like Black Dave. This the next level. Off the top like a coffee pot. Y'all just talk a lot like a possessed devil. I've been against several. Fuck the braggadocio. You all about your sales? I'm more about the culture. That's that Web 2 shit. And we ain't going back. Once again, they making money, but the flow is whack. Let me digress. Talk about my life, though. NFTs rescue me. They're like my lifeboat. Used to stress with every post, hoping it go viral. Life is full of ebbs and flows, hoping it don't spiral. Blowing like a pyro on some TNT shit. They saying I go crazy. Just like a TMZ clip. Louie, baby. Y'all know. We out here. I'll give you one more acapella. Yeah,
One
so one
more.
more. I'm giving you some. So this is about my experience going into these Twitter spaces a little bit, and like just never getting a chance to talk, never getting a chance to show my shit while I have to listen to people talk about sales and marketing. When the space is talked about, come perform and titled, come chill NFT vibes, show us your project, show us you could rap, perform, whatever. Yo, um, all my life been trying to escape the system and the industry. All that anger outside, had to find my inner peace. Rolling up the inner leaf, y'all could get the fire fumes. Blowing smoke, healing folks like the nebulizer do. Wouldn't let me on the stage, so I built my own venue. Everybody sound the same, my flow come with a home menu. Bro, can you talk a little bit about your token too? Oh yeah, dude, maybe spit a flow, and they like, no can do. That's the sentiments that I just get from Twitter Spaces. What a fucking circle jerk for effortless creation. All these people blowing smoke in and at each other's throats. Real musicians play a show, y'all play it from your playlist. Y'all could get these bars at any time or any place or space. Every time I rhyme, these rappers wanna let them haters hate. Now I know I'm popping though, cause they wanna stop it though. Like Malone and Stockton for the conference versus the Rockets, yo. It's Louie, baby! And y'all can call me NF Trapper. I got these bars, they going up just like a metal ladder. Can find a better rapper. Salute your favorite one. Fuck a Uzi, this from Louie, so that shit gon' weigh a ton. It's Louie, baby. Y'all hear me?